Hello, and thank you so much for joining us for your ROH and TNA post show. I'm still getting used to saying that, Reg. We're still getting used to the brand switch over there, but very happy to be back after last week. Very happy to have TNA back on the back of this show. It was kind of fun to run wild there for a while. We didn't have Joel and Cresta at all. We had all the breathing room we wanted. Yeah, but let's go to a time limit draw with our 1 hour deadline here. Mm-hmm. We thank you so much for joining us. This is your ROH post show for, my goodness, it is February 1st. Happy Black History Month. I will let Reg speak to that much more appropriately than I can. But happy Black History Month to all of our Black subscribers, our followers, and just to everybody in general. Wrestling is for everyone. Fightful is for everyone, as we always say. That includes the Black community, of course. Very excited to get this February of wrestling underway. Feel free to get in your super chats. No humper chats tonight, just super chats. Thank you so much. And of course, we're going to remind you to subscribe to Fightful Select. That Mercedes gal, she's going to AEW. I don't know what to tell you guys.
Are you breaking news right now? This is the first I've heard of this ever in my life.
You know what's so funny is Shawn said she's expected to go to AEW for like the past month and a half, and that's still the case. But hey, if you want supplementary details about that, head over to FightfulSelect.com and subscribe. Tons of details over there for you about everything. It's a big free agent year. We've said it week over week on this show. You're going to see a lot of people popping back and forth at different promotions. Of course, with AEW working so openly, you're also going to be seeing people that work in AEW, work in Japan, CMLL, everywhere. We've got so much going on in the wrestling news. In the wrestling news? In the wrestling news. I was going to say in the wrestling world, but in the wrestling news as well.
Also.
In general, just I want to emphasize this because I think it's important. FightfulSelect.com will have all the supplementary information on every story that you have, if not the entire scoop itself. Shawn is pretty adamant about not being icky about the paywall when it's injury related or something like the Vince McMahon story that is going to evolve and quite frankly feels like it's going to be evolving for months. That stuff doesn't get paywalled. Sometimes supplemental stuff will, but if you're on the free tier as a free subscriber on Fightful Select as well, you'll have access to that news. And extra details might be behind the paywall, but Shawn just has a really fair line about what that looks like ethically. So just so you guys know, that's the deal with that. That's going to be going on, but we've got wrestling to talk about, not drama, not any scandals, not any terrible news. We got ROH to talk about. Very happy to be back with Reg. Reg, how are you doing? I missed you last week. Always weird.
I know. I was just here on this show with a different partner. You guys know what happened when Kate leaves. Shout out to SP3 for coming and joining me. Rod Belding of Fightful coming in to do his job. We love him the best. I'm doing fine, though, Kate. Beyond that, I'm trying to stay away from a lot of the news out there. There's an atmospheric river happening in the Bay Area. They say it's rain, but not as much rain as they say. They love these scare tactics to freak us out, to get the umbrella and your rain jacket and all this. And you're like, oh, it's raining, but not like I thought it was going to be flooding. But, you know, just trying to stay dry.
Watching You're not getting washed away over there.
Yeah. Not getting washed away. I'm still here. The Ark, Noah hasn't sent the Ark to try to take me out yet. And feeling good, though.
Glad you're okay. On the East Coast, we get the polar vortex fear. The it's so cold, you are in a polar vortex fear, and then it always ends up just being like, it's cold. But we are heating up here with some of our ROH episodes. Guys, for the first time ever, my notes got completely deleted. I have the rundown, but this is going to, I'll be frank with you, not be my best performance out here, okay? I'm not Tony Storm. I can't deliver performance after performance super, super well. So gonna rely on Reg to supplement for me. That's never happened, but all my notes crashed and I couldn't get them back. So we're going off of this memory, which is terrifying, and also off of the rundown that Luis gave us. So if there's anything that feels like it's missing, it probably is. But that's a great way to get super chats going, so you guys can send in money to remind me how to do my job. But
exactly,
I do know and I do remember that we start off the episode. I'm just loving this Dalton Castle stuff, man. Lexi Nares with Dalton before he storms Taya Valkyrie and Johnny TV's locker room Jerry Lynn sees everything here and resolves it by booking Johnny TV to face a friend of Dalton Castle's for next week. This angle is so fun. I know I was out last week, but I did see Johnny TV getting pulled on a wire.
Johnny TV changed the game last week, honestly.
My God. So he was on the Jericho Cruise, and I heard from someone on the Jericho Cruise that they spoke to him, and he said that it was like a trick with they tied just like 3 different strings to the back of your shoe, and then the people just pull by the back of your shoe. It's not always the highest tech stuff that gets you in, but a fun segment last week, an unbelievably fun story. So we do get Dalton Castle versus Johnny TV versus a friend of Dalton Castle's next week. Do you know who this friend is? Do you want to speculate wildly on who this friend might be?
Listen, no scoops from me. Dalton Castle's keeping it very tight. He doesn't nut. Nobody knows. I love how they kept being a friend of Dalton Castle. Don't forget, it's Dalton Castle's friend. How many friends does he have, Kate? Can we go through our memory and be like, well, who? One of the boys is that going to be the thing? You know, I guess that's the only friends I know that he has up to this point.
We did get a backstage later that we've talked about it a lot, but my God, Lexi Nair has just grown into an incredible presence all on her own. Her relationship with Dalton in this is so fun. She's like, can you give us a name? Can you give us an eye color? Can you give us a shoe size? Can you give us a hair color? Can you give us a social security number? Can you give us something? Who is this guy? She's trying to do her job, man. But he eventually falls back into a bed and you just see his little feet sticking out. Mm-hmm. And first of all, giving that away for free, extremely generous to Dalton Castle. Okay, honestly, he's not even paywalling that. That's not even OnlyFans fee. Okay, this has been such a blast, but to just see his little toes sticking up, and Lexi just stunted about what to do. He did say it was someone who hasn't even been wrestling that long. He did say it was someone who doesn't even go here, which I thought was fun. So I'm wondering if it's either something I think as obvious as the boys or someone that's not even in our ether to maybe pull on with this. Mm-hmm. I'm very, very excited to see this continue to build. And in general, this in the women's picture, we're getting much, much, much more attention on long-term stories, and you love to see it. I'm wondering who Dalton's friend is. There's nobody that I can kind of think about. I was trying to think about like past people in ROH, and I don't think there's anybody available or appropriate to pull Dalton Castle in a mask. Could be fun. I don't know.
They're in Texas, I think. I honestly have no idea. It could be anybody at this point. Hopefully it's like
Red. We don't even know.
Listen, I'm not going to give away all my secrets right here on the show. It could be anybody. Tell
everybody on Grapsity, I bet.
No, I'm going to send the scoop to Sean Rossap and let him get it on Fightful Select. Kate, come on. What do you think this is? I'm trying to be a business player. It's clearly Okada. Oh, wait, hold on.
You think it's Okada? Dalton Castle and Okada. Seems like the move.
Wait a second. No, some points are being made here. Dalton Castle and Okada's a pretty strong team there. It could be him. If Okada showed up on ROH, people would be so mad.
They'd be so mad. It's crazy because he's going to NXT. Dalton Castle's friend Ricardo says, see you next week, Johnny Fraud. It could be our friend Ricardo surname that always changes. It could be him. We don't even know. I'm excited. I really do love this story, though. It's been such a blast, and I'm excited to see it continue. But we move along to Angelico and Serpentico, who take on, I don't want to say the Russell twins as a white cow. the Russell twins.
You can say the Russell twins.
The Russell twins. I will say Alan Russell and Cameron Russell. And this was a competitive little match, but I got to say, one thing that I've appreciated is like Angelico was just lost in the mix for a really long time under the ROH umbrella. You had the TH2 stuff, and then he was kicking around as a singles wrestler, not really doing anything. He's been in singles matches in ROH, which I think is still probably like the way to really, really go, because Serpentico's more there to serve a purpose, but getting to see him show out has been a pleasure in this kind of revamped ROH, especially in the past couple months where they've been really lighting the fire under this product. It is so evident that there has been a much bigger focus on stuff. Getting to see him show out tonight was really, really fun. This division is taking shape. We have tag champions that are around. We get to talk about that again in a few minutes. But this was a perfectly serviceable match. I just love that we get to see some flash from Angelico because he was just around before, and now we get to see him with some consistency, and he's fantastic. So any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think that we always on this show talk about contenders, and Angelico's such a built-in contender. Everybody, the way that people talk about Angelico is like, you would think he's one of the most underrated wrestlers in the world. And now we are kind of getting the ability every week to see him in these positions that he should be in. Serpentico, every time they have him and another guy that's on this show later in the show on the same show, I'm always like, why are they doing this to us? But I understand positions are being filled. I thought this was a very fun tag match. The Russell twins are a good tag team. They've been on the BW 500. Shout out to Righteous Red on the BW 500. And they're a really talented team. And I love that they got some, like you said, it was a competitive match. It wasn't just Angelico and Serpentico squashing these guys. They showed some offense. They showed some defense. And yeah, they're building to this tag division, which I think has been shown much more improvement since they made the Kingdom the tag champs like they should have been a year ago. I didn't think that Serpentico and Angelico would be one of the teams that they're building up because they've been giving them a couple of consistent wins, but I'm not mad at it.
No, there's certainly worse things there. It just, to your point, I think kind of feels like a little lopsided in that like Angelico's the breakout guy and Serpentico, we've mostly seen him been around to take not only losses, but silly losses for the most part in both AEW and ROH. So the rebuild is kind of like a mental adjustment a little bit, but I do appreciate that we're getting some consistent wins and losses from teams. We're going to talk about more of those in a little bit, but somebody said it in the chat, and it's Lord Kev, who I'm supposed to only be pulling up super chats, but Lord Kev rules and is very generous to us all the time. Dalton's friend.
Yeah.
Mercedes, right?
I didn't think about it. Yeah, that is.
Nor did I. I think that's Tony Khan's big announcement next Wednesday. Is he's going to undercut Dalton right before the Thursday taping.
Could you imagine? Big announcement. Watch ROH tomorrow. People would be, again, so mad.
It's definitely one of the two. I'm very confident it's one of the two.
Mm-hmm. But
some good stuff. And we move on to Nyla Rose defeating Amy Camacho. I love Ian and Caprice. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that before, guys. I think they're great. But sincerely little things of them mentioning that Amy Camacho is someone that was trained by Athena. So I love just little seeds like that kind of tied these stories together as we continue down the mountain with Nyla and Athena. Shout out to Athena for winning the Fightful in-ring performer of the year on the women's side.
Well deserved.
Reg, from the ROH spot. It blows my mind that this brand that you and I love and champion that has been turbulent at best over the course of the past year, that it doesn't feel like a ton of people are necessarily paying attention to because of some of that inconsistency and just it's paywalled and a smaller brand. For her to win in-ring performer of the year against Rhea Ripley, again, it's really says so much about her. And I think part of it is she's incredible in the ring. Everybody got to see those matches against Willow and against Billie. And a lot of people talked about the street fight versus Kiera Hogan. But I think it was how great she is in the ring and the fact that she's anchored this product on her back that really kind of drove home the win for her. And it just makes me so, it makes my heart so full when you get to see those types of things happen, when you get to see someone break out so much and we get to talk about it on this show because it's talent that doesn't always get spotlight like this. What a testament to her. She was clearly moved by it. She posted her Fightful award online and said that it was the first award she ever won. So in a week that's been very turbulent and weird, getting to see stuff like that absolutely rules. And we're here to talk about this Nyla match. Shocker, it was a squash. But I loved that it was against one of her trainees. Any thoughts here? It was cool to see, always cool to see fresh faces like Amy Camacho here, but this was the Nyla Rose continues her warpath kind of vibe that we got from this match.
Yeah, with the Maya World getting that shot a couple weeks ago and having a really good showing, and Amy Camacho here, I'm like, yo, Athena's quietly building a little cool stock of wrestlers over there, and I want to know more and see more, because everything I've seen so far, I'm like, yo, what's Athena doing? Not only is she well deserved with this Fightful Women's Wrestler of the Year, essentially, she's taking on this great training role and essentially looking great while doing it. It's like, I want to see some more of this training. Like, Nyla's been in there trolling, but I'm like, I really want to see what's going on, because it looks like Athena's doing some great work with how it's going. Nyla is 100% ridiculous in all the things that she does. She did some spots here in this match where I was just like, Nyla is so insane. But I love the heat that she's bringing to Athena. She's on her neck super hard, trying to take out all of her trainees, trying to take out everybody close to her, and just really showing that she wants to be the next ROH Women's World Champion. And I'm all for that. I'm at a crossroads because Athena's the MVP, one of the best ever in Ring of Honor champions. But I'm like, Nyla is, putting up a good fight here, and the way that she's entertaining every week, I'm like, maybe Nyla's the one to dethrone Athena after all this time.
Sure, the chat calling out to that reverse fireman's carry cutter, which is
that
cool.
Was sick.
So cool to see that. I love that it feels like, I think because everybody expected Athena to drop to Billie, there's kind of seeds of doubt of like, well, if it wasn't then, it could be whenever, right? Yeah. So I think Nyla, who hasn't been doing a ton on the main roster, but carries the prestige of being a champion coming in here. It's at least a good fight. There are at least seeds of doubt. We also get a hilarious backstage. I just love this woman, man. I've been rooting for her to turn face because she's so damn funny. But like this version of kind of a tweener, because Athena's obviously such a strong heel, is really, really fun. She's basically just like taunting Athena, and Lexi Nair is like, she's not here because she had a thing that she had to do. And Nyla walks out of the frame and is like, oh, okay. And then comes back all psych. Like, she's so much fun and so playful, but because her presentation is the native beast, right? Like, I love the contrast between the serious and silly. I'm begging for like a true, honest face run at Nyla, though, just because she cracks me up so much.
Right.
Any thoughts on that backstage? I'm just loving the interplay here and the consistency of the women's picture getting long women's stories.
Yeah, I think that's what I like about it the most, is for these last couple of weeks, is Nyla's been getting a couple segments to build to the anticipation of having this Athena match. And this backstage segment was another one. She called the guy that she powerbombed through the table last week a fake John Legend. So it's just like, what? Nyla's just so, like, again, like I said, so ridiculous, and she just adds little shots like that. And then like the quickness that she turns it from funny to fear is like unmatched. So yeah, I think this is doing so much to already kind of, I want to say, reintroduce us maybe to Nyla, because there was a time where she kind of played the background role, but this is just showing us again how multifaceted she is, and that she could be the next women's champ.
Agreed. I forgot. I'm so glad, because I know that was in my notes because I was cackling at it. The fake John Legend thing was so great. Loved that. She's the best. Very cool to see her. And also, what we all assumed in the beginning was that people like Nyla that maybe weren't doing a ton on the main roster right now need somewhere to go, need somewhere to work, and other people need people to improve with and against. So this is really cool. And also just shout out to the minion angle bleeding into real life here. Like the fact that it's her actual trainees being referred to as minions, I think is just such a fun thing and kind of a nice acknowledgement of all of Athena's work. You know, we want to see her elevate from the ROH picture, or at least bring that ROH title elsewhere. But that's kind of a cool nod to be like, well, we can use your trainees for this story is something that's really cool. I like to see it. I like to see it. And I like to see my Iron Savages, who defeat John Cruz Very similar build to someone else on the show.
Looks really familiar. I'm like, what is it about him?
It's like, I just can't put my finger on it. Reminds me of that Serpentico fella, but I know that Serpentico fella wouldn't be sticking around after his match with Nyla Rose here. You know what I mean? He's scared. He's booking it out of there, but it's John Cruz, KM, and Braxton Hunter in this. The Iron Savages picking up the win. Because I love the Iron Savages and because I loved Bear Country so much, I've been trying to be patient about the gimmick. And it's really starting to wear thin on me because they haven't really gone anywhere in a bit with that. They're great in the ring and they're so fun and silly. And I appreciate that week over week. But it felt like they were getting lined up for maybe title shots. They show up here as a trio. We're going to talk about trios that showed up as tag teams again in a little bit. Looking at you, the Righteous. What's going on? But, you know, I want them to have a serious title shot. I know we have a lot of breathing room between pay-per-views and ROH, which is normally something I like. But it felt like we were leading toward contendership. And now it's kind of like, what are we doing with them? Great win. They always impress me in the ring. It's super, super fun. I just need them to go somewhere with this because otherwise gimmicks like this feel like they can just burn out really quick. Like if Toni Storm wasn't champion or doing anything productive week to week, you'd be like, she's a riot. She's incredible. She's so funny on commentary, but who cares? Because it's not really going towards anything. You need to put all this silliness in a context for me to continue to be won over by it, I think. But the match itself, perfectly suitable. I also just need a little clarity on like tag team or six-man. Tag team, six-man. Six-man. We get a lot of back and forth with that. We're getting better. There's been a ton of progress in ROH in this regard, but sometimes Jack Jameson is there. Sometimes it's not.
Yeah, I think I would probably slot the Iron Savages into a tag team with what we're building over here. I think I like Jack Jameson a lot. I think he has a place on this roster, but I think having them slotted as a tag team with the division and how it's kind of fleshing out, they're just carry way more weight as a tag team, and being over there and doing that would help, I think, a lot more because the trios division, as we see, it feels like they're building to merging those titles together. And I don't think the Iron Savages if they're going to do that, the Iron Savages aren't going to be anywhere near where they need to be in that division in this current form. And I think they just serve more of a purpose in the ROH tag team division because they could do so much more there.
I agree with you. I'm a little nervous about the six-man picture on the crossover brands. And this is part of why is it felt like we had some real trios. And now it feels like if they pair them up, who's actually going to be getting opportunities is something that makes me a little bit nervous. So, but we will see. We will take it a week at a time. Decent enough match. I just hope it is all leading to something in the long run here. But we move along to a very heartwarming interview by Ethan Page, who's with Lexi Nair. He's got his purple and pink gear on tonight. And that was picked out by his daughter. And I this is what I love about Ethan Page promos is he says his daughter doesn't really care if he comes home after a win or a loss. She points out that he said he was going to come home with a belt and he doesn't. And the thing that I love about this is I don't think kids really care that much if you win or lose a lot of the time. Like your own kid probably doesn't necessarily care all that much. But if you were to say I'm coming home with the title and you don't, they probably care more about that. Unless it's like a big match or you see your dad getting his butt kicked by Tony Nese or things like that. Like they're going to be more like you said you were coming home with this belt and you didn't think. I adore that. Very, very baby face. Like he definitely couldn't lose the match if he's going out there with gear that his daughter picked for him. My God.
True.
But he says he's going to defeat Slim Jim. Slim Jim. He might be. He might be Slim James. Slim J might be Slim J. James might be Slim Jim. He defeats Slim Jims. He snaps into a Slim Jim later. He says he's gonna. He says he's gonna continue until he gets that championship. He calls out the ROH Men's TV Championship Gold, which is cool. But he's got a Macho Man his way there against the Slim Jim. So, my God.
You think we were sponsored by Slim Jim with them damn add-ins
You'd
there,
think
Kate?
we were. If they want to, Kate@Fightful.com.
Yeah.
If you want us to snap into Slim Jims, you can pay us for very affordable rates.
I'll eat a bunch of them here on air. I don't care.
That's it. I love it.
Yes.
But Ethan Page wins against Slim J later.
Yeah.
He kind of has a different presentation now, and I like that with Slim J because I got kind of sick of week over week being like, oh, Slim J's so silly. Man, that guy can go. It feels like they're steering away from that, which I'm glad about for a lot of reasons, including the fact it just feels very dated and appropriative. But Ethan Page looks great. Slim J is one of the best at selling. Like, he really knows how to sell for people. And Ethan having the size advantage, he just looked so strong in this. Really liked the match, really liked the promo. Very, very white meat babyface-ish, but I don't think that's a bad thing as we're establishing Ethan Page. And again, like, little things like saying my daughter's asking about the belt, not wins and losses, is the trajectory he's on, right? So even in stuff that might feel more generic, I always appreciate that Ethan Page grounds us in that more. But a predictable win, but a good one. Love, love, love Slim J and his selling in this, because Ethan Page has some very, very hard hitting, high impact looking moves. So the way he makes those look in the ring, wow, fantastic. Your thoughts on the promo and the match?
Yeah, as you guys know, we're big Ethan Page fans over here.
I always have been. You more recently came on.
Yeah, it's a new thing. It's a new thing. But somebody in the chat said that Ethan Page is better as a heel, and I'm like, I don't know if I could disagree, because Ethan Page is a heel, big time stuff. But if he's doing babyface promos like this, Kate, talking about his daughter and how she, you know, little kids, you see pictures of when a wrestler wins a championship and they take it home and they put it on their baby or their kid, and it's like the cutest picture in the world, or the kids are just so excited to have those belts. So this is like, it feels real. These are stories we've seen before, and adding his daughter in to not only add on to the story, but kind of add pressure onto himself, I think is in the trajectory of the story that Ethan Page always tells. He's such a, like you said, white meat baby face. And the way that I like earlier in this week, he was selling this match with Slim J. He's like, I'm going to face an ROH original I've never faced before. I'm really excited about it. He's so much about the brand that he makes everything that he does even more exciting. And I thought he made everything he did exciting on this show today. The match was Slim J. Slim J, like you said, such a great seller. Insane bumper. He takes like the sickest bumps off like the most normal things. It's really likened to, shout out to the homie Jack Evans. I remember Jack Evans used to be in AEW. That was forever ago. What happened to Jack Evans? Crazy times. Things are different. Angelico's old partner, but he's Slim Jim, snapping to it, is a great bumper.
Oh no.
Snap it to a Slim Jim. Really good bumper. Ethan Page made him look great. We got to see a big ego's edge here. I think still, where do you think he lands with this, Kate? Is he going to be the one to beat Kyle Fletcher? Maybe he'll get a shot at Eddie Kingston. He already said he didn't want to be a tag team with Scorpio Sky. Him and Kyle Fletcher at not final battle, Supercard of Honor, yet to be announced, ? I think is a big match though, so I'm in for it.
I feel like today he said TV title. There's something that feels very right about Ethan Page with the TV title. Like that feels like a good fit. And there's still kind of a lack of clarity around what Eddie Kingston's title is, and if they're
if somebody asked me to explain it, I'd be like, I don't know.
I would have like the Carolyn HR chart from It's Always Sunny, or like the math equations meme. I don't really know what's going on there. But I will say I like Ethan Page better as a heel too, but he was inconsistently getting reps for so long, and now he's consistently getting reps for so long. Right. I think we don't want to underestimate how powerful a heel turn from him can be if he's establishing a heel turn with the championship or closer to a title shot. Like I think you don't want to waste that if you can make an impact with it. So that would be my preference. And you have this alliance with Scorpio Sky, who says how long that's going to last. Maybe he turns on Scorpio. He already doesn't want to be a tag team partner with him, right? So could be a lot of things to sow there. But I kind of like the idea of Ethan Page getting his footing as a face, because we were all just sincerely rooting for him to have some screen time. And now that he does, maybe that heel turn comes at a time where it's going to make him a top heel, because he's climbing up the charts right now. So lots of fun stuff going on with Ethan Page. We will see what's next. But we move along, guys. We have more to talk about with ROH, but stay in touch with us on the back end of the show for the TNA reboot that is off to a great start. Nick Nemeth against Trey Miguel tonight. Ali is coming in. Really fun stuff in the vignette. They are off to a great start with this rebrand. I'm so happy for them. But we got more ROH to talk about now. Very exciting stuff here cooking. A really impressive episode, considering half their talent was on a boat for the Jericho Cruise and another half of it was on Collision. But good stuff in our ROH World Tag Team Championship Proving Ground match. I'm just filthy, Reg. Okay. I love me some filthy Tom Lawler. He is an absolute badass.
So
him and Fred Rosser, really fun tag team match here with Taven and Mike Bennett. Again, I keep going back to nobody has ever proved their ground on this show. And that continues to be the case here. Now, this is not the place for somebody to win a Proving Ground match, because they don't work consistently there. So I don't think the follow-up would be something that's simple and easy to book. This also helps advance the story in New Japan a little bit too. But I really, really love Filthy Tom, who had his fancy Daisy Dukes on tonight with the flowers, by the way, and Fred Rosser. Fred Rosser, so underestimated, and how hard-hitting he is. That is a hard-hitting son of a bitch out there. And Filthy Tom with that MMA background, and just everything looks so real, because he knows what it takes to make something look so real, but everything so efficiently used. I feel like this is someone that felt like they deserved the shot at the shot, kind of. Like when you have people coming in from the outside world of the program you're watching, they kind of have to look really badass to look like they fit in the world that you're going for, because it's like, why the hell should they be looking around for a title shot? And they do. They're very explosive, hard-hitting team here. But, of course, your tag team champions retaining here. This was a longer Proving Ground match than a lot of the ones we've seen. But I continue to wait for someone to prove their ground, Reg.
Yeah. I have no idea. I don't know anything, you guys. But I want to know how hands-on with this television show that our friend Rocky Romero is, because this felt pretty Rocky Romero influenced on a lot of this that we saw today, in a good way, of course, because Rocky Romero's the man. Right here, this is a perfect shining example. Okay, this was a New Japan Strong match essentially that we're watching here. We had Filthy Tom Lawler, Fred Rosser, and the commentary was emphasizing the things that they've done on New Japan Strong to tell us the story of why these guys are so awesome. And almost Proving Ground made them look even more awesome. I think maybe I'm like, I don't know if they're going to be brought back, but this could have been two guys you could have used to prove ground, because separately they're two badasses. Getting them together, like, of course they would last this long with the champions, but then in the end, it makes the champions look kick ass if they're beating two badass guys like this in less than 10 minutes. So I understand the story that was told. This is strong, though. Seeing our boys, the Kingdom, here every week doing this Proving Ground match is legit all we ever wanted. Not the hardest thing in the world. Put the champions on, have them in competitive matches, build a bunch of tag teams, and then one day somebody's going to beat them and it's going to be worth something. Pretty easy. The Kingdom, I think, are in a great position here because they represent ROH so much. They're a great tag team. They still do. They have like kind of an old school style with their tag team work, but they still do new innovative spots that make them relevant in today's climate. So I loved everything about this. Bring back Filthy Tom and Fred Rosser because they're just punch you in the mouth style. and grittiness is needed here in Ring of Honor, and more tag teams like this are welcome.
Agreed. And I really liked I had a small issue with Wheeler Yuta and Tom Lawler for that pure title, because I was like, I really wanted Tom Lawler to win because it felt like he was outpacing Wheeler a little bit, and that's not a fault of Wheeler. It's not a fault of Tom Lawler's. He just out wrestles him, and he's so much bigger than him is how it felt to me. They're such badasses on their own. Would not hate seeing them tag forever though, because they are both like very, very strong, very hard-hitting dudes. A lot of fun. We got some super chats. It was Travis Lindsay who said in this chat saying, happy for Ethan Page, but he's better as a heel in my opinion. Agreed. Travis. And we talked a little bit about that, and Feeling Dreepy saying, I miss the pure division.
What happened to the pure division?
RIP the pure division. Where have you gone? Where is Josh Woods? Why is it Angelico in the pure division? I miss
or like if you're gonna put it on Yuta, just put Yuta on the show then. Why are you guys doing this to us?
Or like, I know Shibata's coming back, but like, can't we have a division that doesn't involve the champions even? Like, isn't there going to be a contendership shot? I want my pure matches. I want my technical nerdiness, and I want my rules, and I want my rope breaks, and I want my open hand punches and fit. I want it all. I miss my pure division so much. But I really do, because especially in shows that this one was an hour 45. We were normally getting 2 hours. I kind of like the shorter format, honestly.
Same.
But I do appreciate having something that breaks it up in that way. Like even in NXT, they have the Heritage Cup, which has rounds in it. So it just feels a little different than a traditional wrestling match. I really like having the time limit belt in New Japan, things like that kind of break this up a little bit, just for me. But that's also my favorite thing in wrestling is technical wrestling. So they might not feel the same way. I'm a nerd, so give me my checkers, but I can embrace who I am. I know what I am. But we move along to Billie Starkz and a name thief, quite frankly. Killer Kate.
Name thief.
Killer Kate, okay? Listen, Killer Kate. I don't give killer. Do I not give off that vibe?
If I was picking a wrestler named Kate, Killer would be like very far down the list. But that's just me. I don't know. You could have a different side. I don't know.
Depends on the time of day. If I have
like Killer Kelly's gonna kill you first. Like you got to get past that.
It's true. You know, that's a really good point. They should have like a match for that. Okay, but she wasn't gonna win here anyway because Billie Starkz looked great in this. My goodness, can that woman wrestle? So impressive in this. I loved. I forget what the name of the finisher was that she used. Sequoia Driver, was it? Looked really, really, really good in this. Just a pleasure to see her continue to blossom here. Knew she was going to get the win. She's going to be kept strong going into that TV title picture. Knew she's going to be kept strong as one of the minions of Athena and a breakout star here. But she just continues to show you something different week over week with these matches. I absolutely love seeing it. And love her putting my little imposter in her place. Okay. But great match here. I love she's maintained, even though she's working a little bit more heel in Athena's minion, she's maintained a lot of the innocence that we know is still there and the magnetism that makes you want to root for her. I always appreciate that when it's just little shifts that somebody makes to turn heel or face rather than like you're a different person now. Like that's my preference. It's more believable here. But good stuff from Miss Billie, and Killer Kate got a little bit of offense in here, but this was Billie's night to shine. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I like that the way that they're trying to tell this story with Billie Starkz. I love that Nyla has been like, "Where's Billie Starkz? Where's Billie Starkz?" And Lexi's always like, "Yo, you just missed her. She's over here. Blah blah blah. You can't see her." Meanwhile, Billie's like building her way to the ROH Women Television Championship, which I think is great. It's like I don't have time to focus on Nyla right now. Like I have a mission. Athena told me to go get this belt, and if I don't go get it, Athena's going to kill me. I can't worry about Nyla when Athena's going to kill me first. So really great story. But on the beyond that, I think that she looks better with every match, as we said, but she's like in the gym. She's getting bigger, like all the great things like a wrestler would do, consistently working out her wrestling style and skill. Like she's such a sponge of everything. It seems like great talent. She looked amazing today in this match. And if she wins that ROH Women's Television Championship, I wouldn't be mad at all. They've been telling this story for a while. We thought that she might beat Athena. So, I mean, the good story that they could tell here is her winning. But then I saw what Red Velvet did later in the show that we're going to talk about. And like, damn, I don't know, Kate. I don't know.
It feels like there's a lot of people that could be in this spot. Like it feels like it could be Queen Aminata tomorrow. It feels like it could be Red Velvet. It feels like it could be Billie. It feels like it could be Taya. There are so many women that feel like that they have a legitimate shot at this, and it just makes everything about it so much more interesting because you're not playing the chess of, okay, well, she's definitely going to beat her, and then this is going to you're kind of more just like, well, damn, it could be any of these people. So I love seeing that. Really good stuff here. I would prefer, this is just personal preference, it would be sound wrestling logic to have Billie win. I'm getting tired of stories where all of a certain faction or alliance own all of the gold.
Agreed.
Max was that way with Adam Cole for a bit. The Bloodline is constantly that way. Judgment Day has been that feel with tag titles and Rhea having a title and Damian having the briefcase. That's just me. I get the idea of that, and it also certain factions I wouldn't mind it with. I wish they did that.
I was
Imperium.
like, there's another one's coming up, but that's Damage Control, who's also trying to do the same thing. Yeah,
they're doing that a little bit, but they also kind of made that around the breakup too. Like I think that's going to be an impetus for the breakup of the group. Certain factions I think warrant it, like the fact that Imperium hasn't had tag team gold while Gunther has been on this run seems silly to me. Like, but I just especially I'm just always rooting for like women's wrestling and in an underdog brand kind of. I'm like, let's spread the wealth out a little bit, but wouldn't be mad about it just from a preference perspective. That is me. But guys, get in your super chats as we continue to talk about ROH. We are going to have so much more for you on Fightful Select into next week. There's a ton going on. We're obviously, for better or worse, on the road to WrestleMania right now with everything going on in WWE. Injury updates going to be coming your way with a lot of things. So much with the free agent news and the contract signing. So please subscribe to Fightful Select. Best $5 in the biz. We also just had the Fightful Awards. If you didn't check them out, you're missing out. They were really, really fun. We had a good time yesterday. A lot of wonderful sponsors that came through. It's in my pinned tweet who sponsored us. So please go and support all of the people who sent in money to help make those awards possible, because trophies are really expensive when they're not extremely cheesy looking. So their support helps us out a lot. A lot going on in the Fightful world and a lot happening at Fightful Select. So go over there and subscribe. And please leave a thumbs up on this video. Helps people find us. Now, I usually say like we're the underdog brands, but man, TNA side has got Nick Nemeth and Ali and all sorts of stuff going on. So we've got some viable third competition coming up, which is pretty cool. So love to see that. We got a chat from Christopher Marino saying no matter who wins the women's TV title, look at all the challengers. So awesome. Now, that's almost the story in itself, right? That is the beauty of tournaments in general, but that is also the beauty of a diverse set of women's wrestlers. And if it feels like any of them can win, certainly feels like any of them can challenge for it, Reg.
Yep, exactly. I think that, like you said, I forgot about Queen Aminata. I'm like, man, I kind of want her to win. After the match that we're going to talk about here, I'm like, she kind of shot up to the top of this. They emphasize it in the commentary, and it's like, yeah, like you said, there's so many that we think could win, but that just means that there's that many challengers for the eventual winner that is going to be, they're going to be chomping at the bit to get a shot against this person. So yeah, it's just so exciting for the division. But then I'm like, what about the women's the ROH Women's Championship? Is it just all Nyla? Who's next after her? What's going on up there too? So, it's good space to be in, I think, though.
Agreed. And more appropriate for you to speak about than to me, but it's really nice that we saw so many incredible Black women's wrestlers as we're talking about the names for this picture. Trish Adora's in the mix. Red Velvet's in the mix. Queen Aminata's in the mix. Nyla Rose is a contender and she's Black. So it doesn't, I can't speak to it with any authority, but I will say it feels like maybe some of the matches that we got might be intentional throughout the month of kicking off Black History Month, but it feels like the rise of this division was completely organic and that the product has, I have felt that way, that the product has done a good job of that regardless. Even when I was one of the 8 people who was watching it before it shut down, you had Shane Taylor and Jonathan Gresham as completely different wrestlers. You had luchadors and LSG as Hispanic talent. Like there's always been diversity within the diversity, which is something I appreciated. And it seems like that's been a priority here, but as it's the beginning of Black History Month, especially, if there's anything you wanted to call out about that.
Yeah, I think that this show specific, if you just watch this show, you'd be like, wow, the diversity over here and looks awesome. We got Queen, we got Trish.
Wrestling has no representation problems at all. If you watch,
know what I mean? Like you just watch the show, you're like, what are these people talking about? It's great, but no. Shout out to it seems like the ROH TV Women's TV Championship is going to be maybe where the Black women over here shine. But yeah, just like you're saying, Kate, I think this representation over here, it feels really good to me because all these women are so different, but beyond them being so different, they're all so good. Like Athena, like you said, we just talked about Athena getting the award for being the best. Like she's far on the way so good. But Queen Aminata is like, I've never seen someone that is new and that gets me excited to see them work like she does. Red Velvet looks spectacular in her return from injury. She looks rejuvenated. She looks awesome. Trish Adora is so good. She could be the world champion in any company in the world right now. I'd strap every rocket to her, and she's in here taking falls. That's another story for another day. But like it's just an exceptional amount of people. And like you said, in the ROH women's title division, it's Nyla and Athena, 2 Black women back to back. It's like everywhere you kind of turn, there's this great representation being had. But the thing that makes me the most excited is they're all so good at this. It's just great to see.
Hell yeah. ROH women's wrestling is a work rate brand, and we've already talked about this before, but that's just never been the case. So that's something really cool to see, that women's wrestling in ROH is like an in-ring excellence type of women's wrestling brand. That's really cool.
Yep.
Speaking of excellent women's wrestlers, Layla Hirsch and Rachel Ellering are backstage. Now, Layla Hirsch is someone, if you told me a few months ago who was winning that secondary title, she probably would have been the first name out of my mouth. But this Rachel Ellering story, it's gotten a little weird on us, and I feel like it's bogging her down. Now, I didn't see last week's episode, so if I'm missing anything, feel free to let me know. But we got Rachel Ellering cutting a promo backstage, being joined by Layla Hirsch, where she says she's looking forward to the ROH Women's TV Championship Tournament bracket and would not face each other for the tournament here. Now, that sure feels like a great way to tell us they are going to face each other for this tournament. Is Maria just not a part of this anymore? She's gone from this. Okay, so I didn't miss anything last week. It just seems like she's exited the picture. That might have something to do with her husband and Matt Taven being back on this brand and what's going on with Cole Carter and Griff Garrison, of course. So maybe it was just better for her to exit, but that just felt very unresolved for a while. This is great, though. Rachel Ellering has looked wonderful in ROH. Layla Hirsch is great. So we will see what happens, but it does not feel like they're going to be, either of them will be winning, because it feels like the story is going to be about them facing each other, and that might be a secondary feud. Any thoughts on this backstage that we got?
Yeah, just a regular run of the mill type thing. Another secondary story, I think, is the best deal. You know, we just want more stories to be told with this woman. Yeah, last week they did a promo where Rachel was like, hey, if anybody can beat you in this tournament, it'd be somebody who's been watching you for the last couple of months and know all of your moves. They're kind of, planting seeds on what could be the end of this relationship. And I think they'll probably eliminate each other from the tournament at this point. But like I said, them having another story that can be gone beyond any championship, I think is the most important part of this.
Agreed. Lord Kev says, breaking news, new ROH sighting, newcomer Ronda Audi. We play a lot of pun games on Tuesdays that he's around for, and the last one was airplanes. I think he went into Auto World for us, which I appreciate, but we are going to keep things moving. Little behind the curtain for you. We have a Blue Chew ad to play tonight, and normally I come up with inappropriate little segues to get to those Blue Chew ads. This does not seem like an appropriate week for that, so I am just going to let Sean Rossop tell you all about our Blue Chew sponsor shortly here, but just felt wrong to make a weird joke about it, but this is genuinely something to do with men's health, so if it is a product that's appropriate to you, we hope you'll listen to the advantages and benefits of it sincerely. And I have to switch brand profiles to play it. 1 second. Pulling it up right now. We are not Sour Grabs, but we are playing a Blue Chew ad. So there you go.
Is your sex life stuck in developmental? Well, get ready for a call up with BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL. Same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but how about this? No awkward in-person visits, no trips to the pharmacy. It's shipped straight to your door in a discreet package. But let me tell you, your package is not going to be discreet when you use Blue Chew, and the code FIGHTFUL helps to give you that confidence, that performance to take you straight to the main event, if you know what I'm saying. When approved online by one of our physicians, it just arrives straight to your door. You're not going to have people nosing around with what you're doing. And right now, you get your first shipment free when you use the code FIGHTFUL. Go straight to the top. You know what I mean. Memorable performance, high spot, whatever other innuendos you can think of. BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL.
BlueChew.com, code FIGHTFUL. I'm sure as the world turns, we'll be getting back to me making very inappropriate jokes to get back to those. Just felt like the wrong call this week, and there was a little bit of a controversial segment that felt weird to play that on Tuesday, so we moved it over here to our ROH audience, and we appreciate you guys helping us out. But we're going to keep moving along to the Righteous defeating the Infantry, and I got a little bit of a complaint here. Now, I love commentary talking about the fact that the Righteous have won 5 matches in a row. That is awesome. That's excellent work by Caprice and Ian. They get the win here. This match was a whole lot of fun. They looked great. But sometimes Lance Archer is with them and sometimes he's not. And they fought for the custody of Stu Grayson, and now Stu Grayson's nowhere to be found. Do they not use deodorant or something? Like, why will nobody continue to hang out with these guys? Are they a tag team? Are they a trio? They're such an impressive act that for me, I would love to see somebody stick around with them. I felt like Lance Archer is such a good fit, and I would love to see them be trios champions. I would love to see the 3 of them versus Bullet Club Gold. Are you kidding me? That sounds like an absolute blast. But it just seems to be a little bit stuck in the mud on this. But that being said, the match that we got tonight was super fun. Carlie and Shawn Dean looked great. I love the crowd getting into the hoorah in the beginning. Super, super fun. 2 very, very different teams from 2 very different groups. But I really liked this. It's had a little bit more time than the Big Boss Man Slam and Going Home that we were getting kind of from the Righteous, a more competitive match. Both teams looking great. I am getting a little bit worried about my Infantry squad taking so many L's, though. With Trish Adora, the Infantry losing a couple times here. They felt like contenders, and they've taken some losses of late. So I just hope they stay relevant and in the mix. But the Righteous are great. I have no problem with this, and it was a very, very fun match. Your thoughts?
Yeah, both these teams are kind of in that what are they doing position, because now they have Trish back with the Infantry. She's been away from the Infantry for a long time. It's like, what do you guys want to do with both these teams? I also am on your side. I thought the Righteous and Lance Archer was a great kind of squad together. They could have been a really good trios. And kind of opposite of what I was saying about the Iron Savages, I think that the Righteous would be high up on the totem pole anywhere that these trios championships are. If they're in Ring of Honor, if they're in AEW, they could be fighting for them in any spot with Lance Archer. So I don't really understand that. But also kind of along the same lines of the Iron Savages, they fill such a huge role, the Righteous, as a Ring of Honor tag team in that division, that I'm not so mad at this. And them getting a win over the Infantry, I think, kind of shows where they land upon this. I think that them, like, if they announced an ROH title match right now with the Kingdom and the Righteous, it would make sense. It's already a story that they've been telling, and it would kind of be a good match. So I'm not mad at this.
Agreed. And they are one of those nice holdovers from the last era of ROH too. I feel like they had a lot of a similar feeling as we've had with Dalton Castle, where people are just kind of rooting for them, really behind them. A lot of people were as frustrated as you and I were with the booking against MJF at Wrestle Dream. So it's nice to see them being made to continue to feel important. Well, we move on to Queen Aminata versus Reza Clark, who I was not familiar with. Great in the ring. Another just really strong kick-ass woman. I love to see it, but man, I don't know if I've seen anyone come in and take over the way Queen Aminata has, from a lesser known name spot to where she is at now. Holy hell. First of all, she's had just a lot of matches over the past couple weeks since she's reappeared, and she's looked fantastic in all of them. I kind of want her to come in and win this thing at this point, man. This has been so much fun to see how strong she has looked. She gets the win here. As great as she is in ring, her command and her presence has just been outstanding. Every time you look at her, it's just like, if she wants to sell 8x10s, any frame of any time she's on screen is one. Like,
every single one.
Command. She's a beautiful woman, but like, and the way that she goes about business, her facial expressions, she's getting close to the Britt Baker level of finding the hard cam school. Really, really, really impressive stuff. She showed out tonight, but I love how much we're seeing her across all these brands. And man, you're going to have a hard time selling me on someone else to win this tournament, because she has just taken over in the best way possible. Really good stuff here too. And I also like seeing her against someone a lot bigger than her. Like it felt like a really cool test against a relatively unknown, or lesser known by me at least, talent. So to see her win against someone who looks imposing coming in there, even if you're less familiar with her work, really, really great stuff. Absolutely adore seeing this from Queen Aminata. I want her, I'm going to say it, I want her to win that TV title now. Now I'm in the mood of, like, I now have a strong horse in a race with a lot of really, really great challengers. But man, she's looking great, man.
Look, I'm going to recommend you guys one match on this show. There was some really fun stuff. Kate will probably recommend you guys Tito and Gringo Loco. But for me, this match right here, short and sweet, Queen Aminata, I'm telling you guys, generational talent already. You know that scene in Step Brothers when Will Ferrell sings the song and then John C. Reilly's like, I can't even look at you. Like, that's how I feel about Queen Aminata sometimes. Like it's too bright over the I'm telling, like, I can't even look at her on the screen. Like, she shines so bright through the screen. She is like something you have to see to believe. The strikes in this match, I noticed that Queen Aminata be talking a lot of shit too in her matches in a good way. Like that. She's consistently yelling or saying stuff, saying this girl deserved it. Like, everything in this was big time, big match. And I'm on the same side as Kate. Maybe the next Ring of Honor women's television champion needs to be the Queen, because there's not a lot of people in wrestling, men, women, anybody that has a presence like Queen does.
You know, I appreciate that you called out that she was talking all that shit, because when I watch wrestling, I want to see people talk shit and beat each other up. That's it. That's what I want to see out of wrestling most of the time. And when I was complaining about CM Punk's promos on the return, they were like, you're an AEW homer. And I was like, no, he's just talking and not beating anybody up. And I want to see him beat people up. He's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Get in there, talk that shit, just like Queen Aminata does. That's what I love about Gabe Kidd. He's like, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. And then he does. Yep. Like, sometimes wrestling just needs to be that simple.
Mhm.
And she made it that simple for us today. But you mentioned, I think we got our matches of the night back to back, which is pretty great. We got the bad dude versus the base god here in a really, really fun match. I talk about this a lot where I feel like sometimes you see people in the right environment and it makes sense to you. Cody in WWE feels like it makes sense. Claudio in AEW feels like it makes sense. Tonight, I got that feel with actually both Tito and Gringo Loco, but Tito maybe most of all. I was like, that feels like the home for him. I've seen him in New Japan and Impact when it was Impact, but ROH just felt like the right place for the right guy tonight. Loved this match. Really liked Gringo Loco going up against someone bigger than him too, or like in the same weight class, because we're so used to seeing him with luchadors who are smaller than him. This was a really fun match, really different for both of these guys. Little things of Gringo Loco going to the top rope where he's more comfortable, going for that twisting springboard moonsault, and Tito rolling out of the way. And later, he goes to the top rope again, and Tito catches him because he has it scouted. Those little things, it's my favorite shit in wrestling. I loved it so much. Both of them looked great. Different strengths, but similar weights here. I felt like Tito's so explosive with the offense. Gringo Loco doing what he does best. We could talk about him all day. But I love that, like, Tito, who I'm always rooting for, and Gringo Loco, who you're always rooting for because you're a flipping and spinning guy in the ring tonight. I felt like this was great, and I felt like it was really different for both of them, but especially Gringo Loco to get out of I'm the base for luchadors world. Like, it was nice to see a different side of him here.
Yeah, Gringo Loco's not just the luchador base god. He's the everybody base god. Tito, I think sometimes when you see a wrestler and you don't know them, first impressions mean a lot, perceptions a lot. And I thought that he showed exactly who he was today. There's thing in wrestling about timing, spacing, fluidity and all these things, and I thought that bad dude Tito showed all of that. He's a California guy, so he knows some lucha, so it wasn't totally out of his realm being in there with Gringo Loco, and he showed a little bit of that lucha spirit here in this show, and I was surprised that he got the victory here, but then I was also like, oh yeah, this is a Rocky Romero show, so this also makes a lot of sense. You're back there, Rocky. I know what you're doing. I see you, brother. No, this was a great showing, I thought, of both wrestlers. And if bad dude Tito is here more in Ring of Honor, I'm all for it.
I am too. I hope that's a symptom of things to come, because it did just feel like right environment for that guy to me. I don't know. It just clicks in an extra layer and when people are in the brand that feels like it's the best fit for them. So absolutely loved it. Had a great time with it and had a really fun time with this next match. We got the 4-corner survival match with Red Velvet defeating Kiera, Hogan, Diamante, and Trish Adora. We get a brief promo from Red Velvet before this, where she's promised to make all eyes would be on her for that ROH television championship. Really good stuff here. We talk about it week over week. They got to figure out how to make Trish Adora feel more important, because she's great. And I can't just say, like, what a great bridging German suplex every single week. Like, she's so much more than that. You got to give her some singles matches and some wins. She should feel important on this. She's one of the best women's wrestlers in the world. Red Velvet getting the win here, I don't have a problem with. It's just hard because you don't want any of these women to take a pin here at all. Kiera Hogan has been made to feel important. Diamante probably should take a pin in this, because she seems to be in this tag team angle with Mercedes Martinez. So I was a little confused about why she wasn't the one to take the pin, unless they're setting something up between Velvet and Trish. But I'm kind of getting over her feeling so vulnerable in this product. She's way better than she's being booked. But the match itself was a blast. Red Velvet, you said it earlier, since her return, like, just on a different level, just a different wrestler since she's come back in a good way. Very confident. Her in-ring feels like she's grabbed a little bit of control over her almost Darby Allin-esque style, where you would be like, I'm very scared you're actually gonna kill somebody or yourself, in the way that she would just go so full force. It feels like she's gotten that under control a little bit. So very, very cool to see this. Your thoughts on our women's 4-corner match here?
Yeah, Red Velvet doesn't feel as destructive as she used to. I love the destructive shit that she was into, but it was just crazy. Like a lot of stuff was happening. Now she feels like she's grown into her character. She's grown into her in-ring style. I thought her strikes looked great today. She just feels more comfortable in ring, and she's really showing that she could be this champ too. Her and Queen meeting somewhere in here, having a strike off, having a presence off, I think is kind of the way to go. Everybody else looked great in this too. They're all contenders for this ROH Women's Television Championship. And I've been liking these multi-women matches that they've been having these last couple weeks because it gives a chance for everybody to shine. It's accompanying a couple of women's matches that we already have on the show. So it's not taking away in that aspect. It's just giving everybody the opportunity to do their thing. These are really good leading into whatever we're going to get. Are we going to get a tournament? Are we going to get a battle royal? How are we going to crown this champion? I think this is a good way to build contenders though.
Agreed. I love that it feels like somebody's going to win and then there's going to be 4 or 5 women that are ready to go right after it. Like that's just awesome. So really good stuff. And if tournaments are successful, they'll hopefully build side feuds for them. So good stuff here, guys. We've got the TNA post show coming up right after we talk about this last match. So much for them to get into, including Nick Nemeth versus Trey Miguel, whatever Ali's doing to come and take over the world here. Such good stuff. Feel free to get in those super chats for us as we close out this show, or for that TNA crew if there's anything specific you want to talk about. We've already got one of them set aside for that crew. Very excited to bring Joel and the wonderful Cresta in momentarily. But before we do, Lee Johnson showing out against Blake Christian, Alex Zayne, and Jack Cartwheel. Alex Zayne, hilariously, I was like, okay, yes, this is a Rocky show. I get it. But in a good way. I would love more of a crossover with New Japan Strong and ROH because they're 2 of my favorite brands. But I gotta say, very happy for Lee Johnson, breakout star in ROH, I feel like, over the course of the past few months. But Jack Cartwheel, like, unbelievable in matches like this, especially. Like, I have no idea how he controls and makes his style so fluid in general with what he's able to do in there. To do so in a 4-pack absolutely blows my mind. Some of the stuff from the top rope in particular, I don't know how the execution and the transitions are so clean when they're so acrobatic and a cartwheel-based offense, I guess you would call it. This is really, really, really good stuff. He's always such a standout in general, but in matches like these especially, I find it unbelievable that none of it feels all that superfluous or excessive. Like, it's always in line with the idea of trying to win a match, which is where a lot of people with the style can kind of lose me. Not him, but tonight was Lee Johnson's night. I just felt like he had a breakout showing in this, though. I mean, really, really good stuff. Your thoughts as we close out our episode of ROH tonight?
Yeah, I like them establishing Lee Johnson again. They keep doing this. They build him up, and then they knock him down. But the buildup of him is always so good because he's super talented. He had a bunch of great dance partners in here. Blake Christian, the GCW World Champ, was here on display again. He's looking more and more
in wrestling right now.
Yeah, they're stashed up around here. Yeah, they're making a lot of I think good moves in establishing guys like this, establishing Alex Zayne, establishing this kind of core of ROH that they've always had. This was a great way to do that. Lee Johnson is a contender for Kyle Fletcher's belt. He's a contender for that pure division whenever that happens. He's a stalwart, I think, in the future of Ring of Honor. So this is a good win from him. I love that they ended the show with 2 4-corner survivals. I think that what they're building here is very Rocky Romero-esque, and I think they ended the show with some more Rocky Romero. Good stuff.
Hell yeah to that. And hell yeah to Joel and Cresta, who we're going to bring on right now as they're going to give you the TNA rundown. But we will read one more super chat from Meet Normus, who says, here's a small sack of monies for snacks or whatever. Since Slim Jim is the final nail in Vince's departure, I'll say meat forever. Appreciate y'all. Well, I called Slim J Slim Jim by accident, so you are very on point with the show tonight.
To it.
But I'm very excited to turn it over to the TNA crew, who has had an influx of talent. And by the way, backstage have been Mansoor and Mason, which has made me very happy. I went and got one of their M&M hoodies. I can confirm it is extremely comfortable. So they have a lot of really fun designs. So just to put them over, I love those guys. And this hoodie is extremely comfortable in my growing collection of wrestling hoodies. Swab Mansour on Twitter, Great Black Otaku on Twitter. Their Twitch streams every Monday are super fun. Check them out. But I'm hoping that we get to see them in TNA a bunch because I love those guys. But we got Nick Nemeth and Ali and a new star at TNA. How are you guys doing, Cresta and Joel?
Tired. I think we're both tired. I think we are the sleepy late night crew. Like, seriously, me and Joel were cutting promos and ideas like we're old, we're beat up, but Joel actually works with children. I'm the baby here.
Mine was homesick today, so it's been a long day. I use an ergonomic mouse now. Y'all ever use one of these things?
That's a little too nerdy for me.
This thing's
I thought you wanted to talk about dudes and gals beating each other up, and you're like, here's my ergonomic mouse.
Wow, Dragon.
Yeah,
not the glasses, too young. Yeah. You're such a bully.
You're gonna be such a jerk.
Right, Joel's just trying to tell us about his ergonomic mouse.
I'm all new talent infusion, Nick Nemeth, Ali, and they're like, I'm tired.
Yeah, listen.
You'll drag us.
I'll call you Brian Danielson. Well, you're Canadian. I can't even say that. I was gonna say call you Brian Danielson because you're American Dragon tonight, but you're Canadian. So
Wow. That joke was on the floor, Kate.
I made it before. I'll make it again. You're stuck with it.
Okay. All you need to know is that this best of 3 with Ace of Bays and Grizzled Young Veterans is going to live up to the hype. Match tonight, and it was really, really good. So go out of your way to watch that. If you watch nothing else from TNA Impact tonight, that's the match.
I thought the whole show, top to bottom, was really good. I only have one complaint, but I'll save that for the post show. I'm trying to give Peace a chance.
Good luck.
I don't know how that is going to manifest for Cresta. Like, she doesn't seem like the like Peace a chance type, but we will. It's a good cliffhanger. We're gonna have to stick around to find what Cresta's complaint with tonight's show was, but we'll hand it over to you two. Have fun. Try and stay awake out there. Grab some caffeine. Talk some wrestling. We'll get out of your hair. Have a great night, guys.
Peace,
thanks, y'all.
Be great, y'all. I hope you find $20 on the floor.
Yes, me too.
That's a wild thing to say.
I mean, honestly, that's my going away greeting. When I leave my muggle job, I'm like, you guys all look nice. Hope you find $20 on the floor. If no one else tells you your butt looks amazing in those jeans.
Amazing. You're such a good person.
What's wrong with a little lie? Even if your butt doesn't look amazing, who does that hurt? Who does that hurt?
That's true. You got to make them feel good, man. If you're having a bad day, make others feel good. Bring yourself up. Bring others up. Come on.
Exactly. All I do is get on the internet and lie. Like, I told people that one time that Omos was just being controlled by a bunch of Alexa Blisses. So, who does that hurt? Who does that hurt? Do you believe that?
Well, listen, first of all, it's wrong because it's called an Alexi Bliss.
The plural of Alexa is Alexi.
Alexis is an Alexi.
You're right. I'm sorry. Thank you for educating me.
Well, nothing else here on a wrestling podcast. We are educators. Anyway, we should get to it because while we are tired, we're still going to bring it. So shall we do it?
Oh, yeah. The energy is going to be up for exactly 1 hour.
Wow. You plan to go an hour?
I mean, we don't have to.
Lady,
45 minutes.
I got a sharp 45 in me. Let's go. 2 hour show.
Do it.
This is, again, before we do the official, this is what the audio here is, but like, let's face it, this show they're really good at just like compacting it and making it so that you don't have to go and like talk about it for an extra hour or two. Like, our shows can do a tight 45 and it doesn't suck because we don't need to go beat for beat, move for move, but we can tell you where things are going in the story and what we like or what we didn't like in a match. I love that about Impact. I love that about
TNA.
TNA.
No, I agree with that. Like, you know what it's here for? The match in ring, you already know was good. So let's talk about the story. Knock it off.
Exactly. Let's get to it. And a 1 and a 2. Hello, friends. We're back again. It's Fightful.com. It's time for your TNA Impact post show. I am at Joel Pearl. It's February 1st, 2024. A new month. Cresta Star is here. We're ready. We're going. We're on the road to No Surrender. It's in like 3 weeks, but we're going to be here for that and a plethora of other TNA stuff. How you doing, Cresta Star?
I'm doing fantabulous. I am like PCO. I am dead, but I am alive. How are you, Joel?
Contractually obligated, much like PCO, to be alive and excited and here for it.
Honestly, what was that football person? I'm only here so I don't get fired.
It's basketball.
I don't know. I'm not a sports person.
It's all the sports. I get it. You know what? That's a Jeremy Lambert question for me. I don't know.
I don't know either.
That McAfee once said, I don't know shit about you know what, so not important. What is important is you leave a thumbs up on the video, and of course, subscribe to us here at youtube.com/Fightful. The Fightful Awards just happened on Wednesday. Go and check that out if you haven't yet. A lot of winners from across the entire wrestling world, not just AEW, not just WWE, but also the independents, and that's pretty damn cool, and everywhere around. So go check that out. Denise and Shawn did a wonderful job, and Kate, who just did the ROH post show, got a lot of the sponsorships handled for that. So thank you very much for that. And of course, we'll talk about FightfulSelect.com a little bit later in the show because that's what we do. Cresta, Impact, tonight. How do we feel? Good show?
Overall, if I had to give it on the scale of Cresta, I would give it 4.9. I thought it was a good show. I was sports entertained. I was sat. I'll wait to get to my complaint, but I have a complaint, and that's it. A singular complaint.
You're gonna complain tonight. That's the big moment.
This is my moment, and I'm gonna have it.
I'm excited for that. We open up this show, but I'll tell you now, I enjoyed the show. Thought it was well paced. I had read the spoilers because I do that. I like to keep up with what's going on so I can kind of think about and ruminate on where they might be going. Obviously, I don't know everything, but you know, knowing the match outcomes give me a little bit of a leg up going into shows like this. We open up the night with Nick Nemeth taking on Trey Miguel. This is a solid match. This is what you kind of expect. Nick Nemeth is starting to grow on me as Nick Nemeth and not just as Dolph Ziggler. A few things that he does are still there. His Dolph Ziggler, because that's just his training. He's sometimes you just can't change that after a while. But a solid match. I'm going to get to the one nitpicky thing post production. One thing: stop cutting on every single elbow drop Nemeth does. When he does those repeated quick elbow drops, they just kept cutting and then cutting and then cut and then cut, and stuff like that just drives me insane. Please stop that. Other than that, the match was really good. I love watching Wentz get ejected, screaming like a psycho in a corn shirt. Stuff like that was good stuff. Quick draw super kick from Nick Nemeth gets the win over Trey Miguel. What do you think of the match?
I am in this moment don't have that problem that you have about Nick Nemeth. When I started watching wrestling, Dolph Ziggler was here, then he wasn't, then he's here. So to me, this is still a brand new guy. Like, if anything, I just miss him coming out with Bobby Roode, but that's not gonna happen. It was a good match. It's nice to see Trey Miguel back doing singles stuff. He's always been a good singles competitor. He was the X Division champion for quite some time. I think ultimately, I knew what the outcome was going to be. I'm glad we got there the way that we did. Zachary Wentz cheating makes sense. I mean, honestly, he cheated within the first 5 seconds. And, you know, you say that there are a few constants in TNA, like luchadors losing. The Rascals cheating is one of them.
It is, but that's what you do when you're a heel. And we'll talk about that in the main event. That was very, very well done tonight. There's one spot at the beginning or early in the match where Nemeth hits a midair dropkick as Trey Miguel's going for a cross body. And I really like that. Was well placed, well planned. It was just solid stuff. Again, a good match, what you'd expect from Nemeth as he's climbing up the ranks in TNA. And of course, as he's celebrating up the stage, he gets attacked by Steve Macklin.
Your arch nemesis.
I'll come around on Macklin a little bit, especially with this new pairing. Macklin and the Rascals are now seemingly best buddies. They like what they're doing. Wentz and Trey Miguel lay out Nemeth with a double super kick. They hand him over to Macklin, who hits a KIA on Nick Nemeth. This was a good beatdown, a good solid moment for Steve Macklin. And now the three of them, Macklin and the Rascals, are together, and they seem to be happy about that. My only questions are, what is Macklin's favorite strain? If you know, you know. And will we be seeing Steve Macklin in the treehouse? Please, for the love of God, please. I've been praying for the return of the treehouse. Please put Macklin in the treehouse. Please do it. I swear to God, please do it.
I do like Macklin with the Rascals, because I think it'll give Macklin a softer edge to an extent because he's very much like a Ted Hutch soldier, whatever it is. So I think him with the Rascals are just like little I don't want to say miscreants. That's not mischief makers is the word I'm looking for. This guy's a soldier. He's here to kill. Like them hoisting him up and just taking orders. It reminded me of like Hercules when the devil had the two little imps, and those are the Rascals. Like seriously, I think it's a good pairing. If they go to the treehouse, I feel like at some point Rob Van Dam got to show up, or else I don't want to watch it.
Listen, Rob's around. You could do it. I'd love to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't hate it. Let's go backstage real quick. Macklin says the Rascals work for him. Not literally work for him, but the teaming of with the Rascals, that works for him. He's happy to do it. They run into Speedball Mike Bailey, who's just walking around backstage barefoot as one does. And then they do the, hey, clean this up, bumping into you bullies in the school hall. And then Speedball just gets in everyone's face. And I like this. I've been wanting some sort of not just smiley, happy Speedball, which is what we typically see. I wanted some more dimension. I wanted some more anger. He has a background. He has a history with the Rascals. So for Speedball to get in both their faces before being dragged off by Macklin, that was good stuff. What do you think of this backstage, or just kind of setting up Macklin, the Rascals, and Speedball?
Kenny King is at home. Like I told you guys, look at this guy. Oh my God, nobody listened to me. Also, don't walk around barefoot backstage. That's how you get ringworm. I don't suggest that. Lastly, why are we picking on Speedball? I don't like that. I don't like that. I think Speedball is going to be a great match. But why are we picking on Speedball? Speedball just wants to wrestle, man. Why are we picking on Speedball? You guys are bullies.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. We're going to need a third, because inevitably we're going to do some sort of 6-man tag, right? Speedball, Nick Nemeth, and who? That's the question. Who teams up with Nemeth and Shelly? Or sorry, Nemeth and Speedball. Shelly's later on. He's doing a title thing.
I mean, I don't know, for some reason I'm like, when in doubt, throw Rhino in there. So, but we saw Rhino later on tonight, so I don't know.
Joe Hendry.
I mean, I wouldn't hate it. It would kind of make sense, but Joe Hendry's now in a beef with AJ Francis, but it's kind of a one-sided beef because nobody wants to beef with AJ Francis.
Apparently not. You know what? Tell us in the comments. And also, I think it's Kazuchika Okada. That's who it is. TNA signing Kazuchika Okada. That's what's going to happen. And they're going to team up 6-man tags. That's the only thing Okada's going to do, is just 6-man tags for his entire TNA run. Let Okada surf and do 6-man tags.
Period. 21.
Let's go. Design is backstage. Deaner starts talking, then Kon interrupts and is like, nah, bro, Design's dead. And Deaner's like, what'd you say? And they break it, and it's just like, nah, it's been the same old bullshit. And they just stare each other in the eyes, and Kon's like, I'm just gonna show the world who the baddest man in TNA is. And Deaner's like, the one thing I do like about this, Deaner now has to control his monster, because this was something that Eric Young did with Deaner. Now, of course, Deaner wasn't a monster, but he was the monster that was being groomed by EY during the Violent by Design days. So I like that there's a little pinch in the story where Deaner's like, oh, shoot, I'm not the leader I'm supposed to be. And I got this guy who's much bigger than me, much nastier than me. I brought him here. I have to control my monster. I like that this is going to lead to Kon and Deaner down the line. What do you think of this? We'll talk more about it when there's an actual match in the promo, but this setup, what do you think?
Kon said everything we were all thinking. The Design has been dead. Yeah, like, if you think about just track record alone, your last couple of matches as a Design, you all lost. And it was kind of sad. You needed to do something against Eric Young. You didn't do that. And Kon was like, you're trying to force something that doesn't fit. Violent by Design didn't work. The Design didn't work. Having the guys in yellow didn't work. So maybe it's you. Maybe you need to start taking some onus, Deaner, and I like that. I can't wait to see what Kon does. I mean, we do see what Kon does later on, but I think he said we were all thinking. It's been dead. Kind of like with the Rosemary, Jessica Havoc situation. That has to be the explanation, because it's not working. So knock it off.
Well, let's just go right ahead. Deaner goes out to the ring and he admits that the design is dead. Says it might even be his fault. He said he thought when Violent by Design died, he could resurrect it, make it something more beautiful, but he was wrong. He starts making allusions to things dying and never coming back. And so they come out and PCO is resurrected and brought back to life for the 287th time. Because again, PCO is contractually obligated to be resurrected every single time he makes an appearance in TNA Wrestling. PCO versus Deaner is a quick match. PCO wins with the PCO assault. The important thing is the post-match. Kon comes in, attacks PCO, beats up Deaner, fake breaks his neck a la, who was that? Thinking of Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor at SummerSlam 19. And then PCO gets a skull slam and an iron claw suffocation from Kon. This happened. PCO is dead again, and I'm sure to be resurrected for the 288th time next week.
How can you kill something that has no life? You know what I mean? Like if it doesn't die, how can you kill it?
Yeah. I don't know if you have anything to add to it. I just think that Deaner and Kon is a fun one-on-one match, and that's all I need to see it for.
I like this push for Kon. I like that he took out Deaner. He's nobody's friend. I like that he took out PCO as well. Him versus PCO. I do like that they're making PCO a big deal. He's the first signing of Impact. But if he's gonna do it, he has to like. I don't know how to describe it besides like Kon's got to win at that point if we're gonna push him as the monster.
Yeah, no, I agree with you completely. By the way, going back to our last chat about Speedball and Nick Nemeth needing somebody, we also forgot that Speedball has a tag team partner. He lives on the mountain and has a big mustache.
Oh, the one that got from Mustache Mountain. Jake something. I'm kidding. No.
We forgot about Trent Seven's existence because he didn't make the Vegas trip.
That's true. Trent Seven was not the person I was thinking of at all.
Jake something was your guy. No, Jake something and Speedball, they team in DPW.
Run it back.
Cross those lines, baby. Mila Moore and Savannah Thorne get crushed by Decay. MK Ultra's watching the match backstage. They want their tag titles back. I love there's a moment where Mila Moore refuses to tag in because she doesn't want any. A quick win for Decay if you want to add anything to that.
I wouldn't tag in against Havoc either. I don't judge you, sis.
Yeah, just get him in, get him out. MK Ultras with Gia Miller backstage. They're like, no thoughts, just rematches, no surrender. We want the tag titles. Danny Luna and Jody Threat show up. They want revenge for what MK Ultra did to them last week. They set up Jody Threat versus Masha Slamovich. Let's just get right to that match. It's a good, solid match. Everyone looks good in this match. I do like that Jody Threat comes out hot. And then Slamovich gets that cartwheel kick right out of the corner, takes over. Eventually, Kelly and Luna get involved on the outside. They distract Jody Threat enough that Masha hits the snowplow, gets the win. Masha and MK Ultra are really going after those tag titles, but Jody Threat and Danny Luna get some reps as well. What do you think of that match?
Again, kind of like with Trey Miguel earlier, it's nice to see Masha in the singles because sometimes you forget that she's really good. Jody Threat bumped around that match. She did it. She busted her butt in the beginning, but that second half of that match, Masha, those lariats, at some point, I would be upset that I have to wrestle Masha Slamovich. That's all I have to say.
Nope, I get it. And by the way, don't forget to get in your Humper Chats and your Super Chats. Talk about this show. Did we do the Humper Chats bit or did I forget?
We did not. We forgot, but it's okay. It's late at night. We're here. We're your late night crew for wrestling. Snuggle up close. Humperchats.com. Let us read your chats. Any dollar amount. We're happy. You're happy. Humperchats.com. Type it in.
Are we old? It's 10:40 and we think this is the late shift.
I'm not going to hold you. If you've been up early, everything feels like the late shift. And I know for a fact the both of us were.
That's fair. Listen, the sound check. Let's talk about that. Josh says he's worked for everything he's gotten. Alan Angels is being a smarmy jerk. He's just saying you never acknowledged him. I influenced your career. Calls Josh ungrateful. Says he's a bad influence on his son. And then Josh is like, nah. Screw this. And this is my favorite moment. This is the ultimate, like, why am I here? And then
honestly,
it's mom telling you to play along with your little brother's new game.
I mean, you bald brothers, you guys should be getting along. Like we're kindred bald spirits. Why are you this way?
They're the same person.
big bro, little bro.
Literally.
I'm not gonna hold you. I wrote, this is terrible. But as it went on, I was like, oh, this is camp. This is comedy. At first, I thought this was real terrible, but no, I see the vision. I thought that this was the way it was going to go. So when it started off serious, I was like, I don't want this. But then when it started to get really smart, it's like, you're not recognizing the person who influenced your career. Allen Angels, come to the front. Allen Angels. What was that?
It was strange. It was surreal. I don't know what they thought they were doing, but it turned down the backlights on the set. But it was cute and it was camp, like you said. I want to see Angels do more of this smarmy asshole thing because remember, he became a smarmy jerk when he started kicking people in the dick or punching people in the dick during Ultimate X a few months ago. So I want to see it, but also just Josh and Allen Angels. It's not the feud. I think that we'll see Alexander go off and fight some other people instead, and Angels might just represent others.
Or just like be meddling. I could see him being just like a meddler, like, well, I want to interview and this is ridiculous. Like, yo, Allen Angels knows what's going to your show, bro. Your show is in the closet. Stop it.
Someone in the chat mentioning the idea of a Crash Holly and Hardcore Holly. I would love to see this. Just for this, I want to see Josh Alexander and Allen Angels in a tag team. And they fight over what last name they should use. Because Allen's like, I don't want to be Allen Alexander. I want to be Allen Angels. And Josh is like, I don't want to be Josh Angels. That sounds dumb. And they have no way.
I mean, I just think Josh Alexander's going to be like, why am I arguing? You just put him in a C4 spike and send him on his way.
That's what I'm here for. Oh, Brian Myers and Kevin Knight have a match. Kevin Knight continues to shine every time they put him in a singles match in TNA, and I really love it. He's got the hops, man. If you've never seen Kevin Knight perform, you got to go out of your way. He's got a super kick into the jumping DDT, and that's a rope break near fall on Brian Myers. Myers, of course, being the veteran, he knows where to kick the ropes, get a low blow on Knight, and then gets a near fall with an implant DDT. Eventually, Myers wins with the roster cut, but really the post-match is what you want. Out come the Edwards, and they threaten to beat up Kevin Knight until Kushida makes the save. So the system are being lined up against Time Machine, Time Machine, all three of them. So it's pretty good stuff. What do you think of Knight and Myers and the setup for Time Machine?
To quote very, very loosely Ray Walt, what is this? Intergalactic jacket time machine? It's like there's a million combinations of these guys. I don't hate it, but that was pretty funny. Also, I thought it was funny when Kevin Knight came out in his pre-match promo was like, I have people in my corner too. Then why'd you come out alone? The design didn't, they went to the back after the while, but I'm like, the design didn't come out alone. Why would you come out alone? The match itself was good. Kevin Knight, like this, I feel like his second run since he's come back has just been phenomenal. He was selling this match, and even last week, he looks good. He looks great.
I'm looking forward to when Kevin Knight starts moving away. Well, he'll always have Kushida, but when he starts getting coached by Kushida as a single star. So Kushida's in his corner, but Knight continues to do singles work because every time, like I said, every time he does it, he continues to represent. He does a real good job. He's a young dude that should be sticking around TNA when he's done with New Japan stuff.
Yeah. I could see him doing good things, especially like I could see him as X Division champion easily.
Yeah, it'd be good stuff. Jim Miller is backstage, by the way, with Chris Sabin talking about X Division fun and enlightenment. And anyway, Sabin says he's a fighting champ, and all of a sudden out comes Ali. They make mention of the Ali X Factor promo, or X. Yeah, he calls himself the X Factor. I'm totally twisting my words. That's great. Ali cuts a promo, says the change is coming. He's doing that. That's what he's doing everywhere across the independents. Excited to see Ali come into TNA. It looks like that's happening sooner than later. Hotch and Skylar walk in. We haven't seen the good hands in a little while. And they're like, that was really good. That was a great promo. They should run this again. They put over Ali. And then Sabin's like, yeah, well, you know what, Skylar, we're going to face each other next week. And Skylar's like, shit. I like the good hands getting an opportunity with Chris Sabin. And I'm excited for Ali going after the X Division Championship. What did you think of Ali? What do you think of Hodge and Skylar? Give me your thoughts on the promo and what's coming up inevitably in the X Division.
I gotta tell you, Ali versus Chris Sabin wrestling.
Yeah.
And I gotta say also, I feel like Kate, when you mentioned a Zack Sabre Jr. match, because I didn't think I knew I wanted that. That match is going to be so good. This presidential gimmick, this is peak. This is peak. 2024 is the year of Delulu is the Salulu, and this is very Delulu. I love this. I loved this. The good hands talking themselves into an ass whipping. Nice to see you guys back.
I'm looking forward to seeing Hotch and Skylar be complete dorks on my TV again.
Yes, very that.
That's what I'm here for. I'm also here for y'all to subscribe to us here at FightfulSelect.com. The best $5 in the business. How do you like that awful segue? Ask Rhapsody happened today. That was good stuff. You want big news on Mercedes Moné and her expected AEW signing, debut, whatever you want to call it, where she's heading. It's AEW. Okay. You want notes on Kazuchika Okada and of course him signing with TNA as we I almost said it without laughing. Okada updates over on FightfulSelect.com. The best $5 in the business. We have plenty of scoops all the time going on. That's where you get your rundowns for Raw and SmackDown, other AEW news. We got the Weekender podcast with Steven Jensen, who joins us after the big pay-per-views for TNA. He does a weekly podcast talking about the independents and what you saw over the weekend. List goes on with Jimmy and Shawn and tons of other content. It's over on FightfulSelect.com, the best $5 in the business. And if you get that, then you will be a very good hand. I picked it up. I got it better, didn't I?
It did get better. I'm sorry. My grandma's been blowing up my phone. I had to quickly tell her, Grandma, I love you. But I'm talking about men throwing men.
Talking about men and men when men were men.
Men.
Frankie Kazarian. Okay. I have a feeling that I just found Cresta's favorite segment of the night that she wanted to talk about. Is this it?
Nah. It's that Ashby Elegance. I'm trying to give.
Oh, no. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay.
I'm trying to give Peace a chance, but I don't know how much peace I got left in me.
You'll be okay next week, I promise. Kazarian's out and he's like, why did I betray Eric Young? Well, let me give you a 15-minute soliloquy as to why I did it. Says he saved his company. I chose to be here. I brought TNA back to life. That video at Bound for Glory, I was literally going through the water, bringing out TNA for. Anyway, he says he's given to the industry for over 25 years, more than anyone could ever imagine. Now he's going to take what's his, take what he earned, and take what's right. He says he's been overlooked, underappreciated, and he has no desire to be a hero to you people. We're doing you people promos in 2024. Eric Young, he says, has been sitting on the throne as a champion while Kazarian was a soldier in the trenches. And so Kazarian wants to be remembered as the face and the king of TNA. And now we all have permission to hate Frankie Kazarian because apparently we didn't have permission before. So here we are. And then as he's going up the side of the stage, I love it. They're showing Eric Young is watching from the back, looking out just like Macklin used to do to Josh Alexander last year. So there's some good stuff here. Allusions to Kings makes me think we have a special match coming up in the next little while. What do you think of this Frankie Kazarian promo and EY off to the side?
He had said a line, and I don't know where it's from. He said, I was a decent man during indecent times. And I'm like, okay, there was a lot of truth to what Frankie Kazarian said. Last year, they did a whole becoming Frankie Kazarian thing where they talked about him going to AEW, talk about him betting on himself, and that if he didn't win the Impact Championship off of Josh Alexander, he didn't see what the point was. So there was a lot of truth to it. But when he said, y'all have permission to hate me, I had to agree with the crowd. Please shut up. Very that. I'm not going to tell you to shut the F up because this is good heel work, but please shut up. Whose upset uncle is this? I can understand because, again, there's a lot of truth to what he said. I bet on myself. I put all this stuff and I'm always losing. Why am I losing? I'm dependable. And it's sometimes some people get tired of hearing that, especially in wrestling. So people like him, Sabin, Shelly, even if Amazing Red was in a situation like this, there are people whose imprints are all over the industry. And I would say Frankie Kazarian has a strong claim to make as well, especially along with Christopher Daniels. So I understand where he's coming from. But also, you are an upset uncle. We get it. All right. All right, did you forget your insured today, Uncle? I liked it. I had a good time. I love a good heel promo, and to me, this was a good heel promo.
It's fine. It's serviceable. It's a very traditional paint by numbers heel promo. I want them to do King of the Mountain at Slammiversary. Have Frankie Kazarian. I don't know if I want him to win, because usually King of the Mountain is for the championship, is for the TNA title. And no, I'm not saying reintroduce the King of the Mountain championship. I do not want that. But I don't know if I want to see Frankie Kazarian be the TNA champion in 2024, unless it's a quick one and whoever wins Ultimate X. And basically load up Slammiversary as like the most gimmicky show you can. And then end it with Frankie Kazarian maybe winning King of the Mountain, being the champion, and then whoever wins Ultimate X cashing in and beating him immediately. Beat him off the throne.
I could see that, but also I could also see Frankie Kazarian not even winning at all, because to touch on the end of that segment, like you said, with Eric Young just being a creep looking at this man from the shadows, you think you're going to win, but I'm going to tie your shoelaces together before you even get to the end of the ramp. You know, I'm I'm in your car. I'm kidnapping you. Man, Eric Young kidnapped Deaner for weeks, bro, and brainwashed him. Frankie Kazarian, this is not what you want. This man, he got stabbed and came back to life. Eric Young is crazy. This is not what you want. You go and tan. Eric Young is just crazy. I don't know how to tell you that.
It's SoCal versus, well, now he's in Nashville, but small town Canada. It just doesn't work. Dobby the Brain Heenan sent a super chat earlier, by the way, saying, can't watch live tonight, but loved Impact. Enjoyed the pace, some new angles, great matches. No Surrender looks stacked already. Ali versus Sabin hose me down. And it was a good show. And this was something you and I talked about. I said when they hit Orlando and they do those tapings, which this was the first night in Orlando, they're going to have much more storytelling than whatever they did in Vegas. Vegas was like, hey, look at us. We had a great pay-per-view. Let's have some good matches and we'll set up a couple things. But now we're into the meat. Now we're into the storytelling of TNA. And I like that we're getting there.
Yeah. No Surrender is going to be so good. I cannot wait to cover that for you guys. Like that.
Looking forward to that one. We're backstage with the system. Alex Shelley approaches them, challenges Moose for No Surrender for the TNA World Championship in a rematch. They're like, yeah, sure, no problem. By the way, the system works differently, even though there's 4-on-1. So trust the system. And later on, the system beats up Kushida because that's how you trust the system.
These guys are the worst. These guys are the worst.
I am enjoying it because, again, these are unlikable people doing unlikable things, just being jerks. And you don't have to like them, and you probably wouldn't.
It just works. Like I mean it with the utmost respect. These guys are a bunch of big jabronis hanging out together, being the absolute worst. And this is the best faction since I've been watching Eddie Edwards has been a part of. Holy crap, this is great. This is great.
Speaking of great, it's your favorite promo, Ash by Elegance.
I want to give Peace a chance so bad, Joel.
She is a diamond, infinitely enrapturing. Her facets flawless, pure and iridescent. Endless dimensions. Wait a minute. They're just replaying the first promo. They just replayed the first promo. What happened? Why couldn't they get 3 in the can? What happened? I
gotta tell you, I have no notes for this. I want to give Peace a chance, but I don't want to listen to the rumors of Emelina repackaged. I want to say this is going to be different. I have to see the in-ring promo because these video packages, the first one, okay. The second one was, for me personally, is not for me. But I will give Peace a chance until it's in ring. That's all I could say. Because right now, if I have to see one more of these, it's, oh, brother, this guy stinks.
Well, she's coming, so don't worry. You'll see the in-ring soon enough.
Is she coming like, oh, boy was coming to WV?
You want to try that again?
I'm sorry, my brain said nope. Is she coming the way Veer is? Because Veer was coming for like 9 years, and then I want her here. It's like next week. I can't. I don't know if I can take another perfume ad.
So was Emelina, but here we are. Anyway, we'll see what happens. She'll be here soon enough. Dollars backstage with Rich Swann approaches him and says, "Hey, listen, you lost because no one's got your back." And Swan's like, "Nah, I'm still not interested." And then he's like, "What about Rhino wants my services?" And Rhino just flat out tells Dollar to F off. That was great. It's like, that's why nobody likes rhinos and they're going extinct. And Swan's like, yeah, nobody messes with Dollar in TNA right now. Like, nobody wants Dollar. I love it. He's just the unlikable, nobody likes you guy.
I mean, sometimes you can use real life things and play it up. Because while I'm assuming they're playing off the Twitter beef he's had with people. He's never really had Twitter beef with people from Impact. So it makes sense that you could do like a funny tongue-in-cheek if you know, or maybe it's just like, well, you flopped coming off the thing. So I get it. I think it's funny. And it could either go one or two ways. He could either be a monster or have to rebuild himself and not be an unlikable jerk.
I like him as an unlikable jerk.
I do too. It's kind of funny, but I want to see more music battles between him and Joseph Henry.
You want to talk about music battles? Jeremy Lambert challenged Dalla to bars. He wanted to battle rap this guy.
Jeremy Lambert,
my co-host on In the Weeds over on Fightful Overbooked every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern till noon. He laid down the gauntlet. We sent it. We tagged Dalla, and he's like, send the contract. Baby, we sent the contract, and Dalla's ducking us. If you thought I had problems with Macklin, what about to have problems with Dalla?
In my mind, I'm trying to imagine Jeremy Lambert rap it. All I can think of is there's a TikToker who does impersonations of Eminem, and I'm like, that's got to be Jeremy Lambert now. He's like,
every white rapper is Eminem.
That's not true. There's Macklemore. All I can think of is like Jeremy Lambert's like, I've been mowing the lawn so long, the lawn, yawn. Oh, yo, that's gonna put butts in seats. I got it. This is better than Shawn Ross Sapp versus Sean McKenzie. That is great. I can't wait to see how this turns out.
Anyway, we got Dalla Duck and Jeremy. My issues with Macklin have I wouldn't say they're all gone, but I mean, listen, we talked it through. That interview is going to drop before No Surrender. I'm just saying, maybe we're going to start beefing with Dalla instead because he's ducking us, okay?
He is the Cheez-It chip.
There you go. Someone's saying that they asked Reg on Ask Rhapsody if they can come in and teach Jeremy how to rap. Supposedly Jeremy's got bars. Okay, that's what Jeremy says. But I'm sure Reg could probably lend a pretty good hand. Ask Rhapsody every couple of weeks over on FightfulSelect.com. Best $5 in the business, let me tell you. Jordynne Grace, speaking of which, Jordynne Grace was in the Royal Rumble. We have all the details on how that came together over on FightfulSelect.com, along with notes from the interview that we had with her. That's up on YouTube.com/Fightful. Jordynne looked great at the Rumble. Let's talk about that real quick because we haven't spoken since the Royal Rumble. Jordynne Grace made an appearance as the TNA Knockouts World Champion. Her family was there. TNA Socials put up a full extended 6.5-minute video of this particular package. What do you think of the package and just your general feeling seeing Jordynne Grace in the Royal Rumble this year?
So I had to cover Collision, so I was watching Collision, but I have 3 monitors. Definite.
I'm kidding. Collision was fine.
Definitely saw Jordynne Grace at the Rumble. Love that for her. Love that for Trinity. I think that if we are going to work with TNA, Jordynne Grace is a great representation, and that stare down between her and Rhea Ripley, amazing. There are so many matches now that I'm like, her, Ivy Nile, Jade Cargill. This is the piece I want to give a chance. I like the idea of them working together, and I said this on another show, and I'll say it again. If there is a third viable option for wrestlers to go and work, I love it. I love healthy competition. So if she can show up on the Royal Rumble, and then you get someone who may be a little underutilized, like I'm trying to think who not. Indy Hartwell, maybe have her in a women's Ultimate X match. It could change your life. Look what it did for Naomi, you know?
I don't know how far this TNA WWE partnership will go.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Charlie Dempsey going over to All Japan Pro Wrestling back in January, and that was neat. But like, it's kind of a coming down to TNA. It's not a coming over to TNA.
Yeah.
NXT stars would make the most sense. Someone mentioned Ivy Nile. That's been the one that Sean's been harping. Natty is a great call. She wants it, of course. Natty will work anybody, anywhere, anytime. That's Natty's way, and that's great because she's a heart. Yeah, she's been around forever, and she trains everyone you can think of. If you've seen them, they've been at the dungeon. So yeah, Natty's there, but no one would expect, like, it wouldn't be a Bianca Belair. It wouldn't be Trinity wouldn't go back to TNA to do a run because we've already seen that run and it was fantastic. We don't need to, reestablish what we already know. It would have to be someone from NXT. Indy Hartwell's not a bad idea. But yeah, you pick the right person. Candice is someone, she's been around the business a long time too. It would have to be someone who's newer, someone who's fresher, and someone that they want to get a few more reps out of as they build them. So someone said, Tamina's a good one. Someone said Gigi Dolan doesn't need to do it either. I mean,
Jacarva Jackson, maybe Lash Legend.
There you go. Those are two women who are fresher on NXT. Those are the people I'm talking about. Ren Sinclair, the former Maddie Rinkowski, she's someone that they would send over and get some reps out of. Ariana Grace would make a lot of sense, especially because she is Santino's daughter. So
Ava Raine wouldn't be too terrible. I know that's someone they'd probably try to keep like a Charlotte, like, no, that's our baby. But an Ava Raine over in TNA would put eyes on the product.
I don't think so. I don't think they're working so much in the ring with Ava these days. They've got her in an on-screen role. But either way, the point is,
watch NXT. I'm just throwing out names.
Wow,
I'm a fraud, baby. I'm a wrestling fan that never watches the show. I don't even know what we're covering tonight.
Who knows? Point is, Jordynne made a sizable impact. I can't believe I had to use that. No pun intended, in the Royal Rumble. She did a good job. She didn't eliminate anyone, but she had a memorable elimination. She was eliminated by Bianca Belair. It looked good. Do you bring her back again? Of course. I think this is more an opportunity for WWE to see someone like Jordynne Grace, who has a year left on her current TNA deal, and be like, we'll sign her next year. And that's all it is.
I like that. I do like that because, again, there's in my heart, seeing Jordynne Grace is such a muscle mommy. To see her against Rhea Ripley, at first you were like, well, that's a height difference. No, I've seen her juggernaut bomb people twice her size. That woman is a beast. And her versus Ivy, I want to see her versus Big E.
Sure, go for it. Will Chisholm saying I could see them doing Roxanne, and that's fine. You can do Roxy, but again, they have eyes on Roxanne as main roster talent imminently. Whoever they send is got, like, Lola Vice is someone they would send because Lola is still new. Lola is still, getting her reps in. If these are people who are on the cusp of a call up, they're probably not looking as cleanly, in my opinion, to bring them to TNA.
I might even say the only people I could see doing something like classic-y would be an AJ Styles. And that would have to be for like a Ospreay, Alexander type situation.
No, you got to do the King of the Mountain match with AJ Styles in it. Frankie Kazarian getting the victory.
You listen, I've said this before. Y'all, no matter how many seance circles y'all do, AJ Styles ain't never coming back.
Right. Anyway, get your super chats in. We're heading down the home stretch. No surrenders coming around the corner in 3 weeks. World title match, Moose versus Alex Shelley, and the TNA Knockouts World Championship. They announced it's Giselle Shaw versus Jordynne Grace. I'm guessing that this is not Giselle cashing in her Ultimate X chip, because her photo in the promo, like the promo photo, she still has the Ultimate XX. That's
now that you said that, I think maybe.
Don't let the cat eat the wires.
Yeah, that's exactly what is. Hey, that's exactly what's happening. Bully Ray is hungry, and she's being a bully.
Oh, you gotta take care of that bully.
Listen, we at the home stretch. She could wait. She's got a lot of fat in her. She'll survive. No, I don't hate it. I totally lost my train of thought because this cat is being a terrorist. I'm so sorry.
Giselle Shaw not cashing in the Ultimate X, judging by the photo on the site.
Oh, I mean, I think next week we'll probably get an explanation if she is or she isn't, because it doesn't make sense for her to challenge and then still have that. Or I don't know. I think next week we'll get an explanation, hopefully.
Well, next week they are going to air Trinity's final match in TNA. It's going to tag up with the current Knockouts champion Jordynne Grace after that Rumble appearance, which happened after they taped this match, but it's airing after the appearance. So there's going to be a lot of over talk over who's where. And they're going to take
working both shows, if you think about it.
Exactly. Rick Rude over here. Anyway, they're going to take on Giselle Shaw and who are they taking on? The other one, Savannah Evans. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's late. We're both tired.
This is just how it is. Best of 3, match number 1. Ace of Base, GYV. GYV gets the win in this fantastic tag team match. I said it on the crossover. If you watch one match from this week's TNA Impact, this is the one. The main event. It was so solid and so good. And it was just heels being heels to get a victory. GYV working overtime on that heel tactic to get the win. We'll go through the beat by beat, but give me your thoughts on the match. GYV takes match number 1. You win the tag team. Sorry, the winners of the best of 3 come out as the tag champions. You can pretty much assume it's going to be 3 matches, and the third match is going to be at No Surrender for the tag titles. But after the first match, what do you think?
Honestly, the chemistry between these two teams, 10 out of 10. If ABC is going to lose to anybody, I'm not mad if they lose to GYV. I'm like these. I don't like to compare people too much because I know everyone's their own person, but I mean this with the utmost respect. They remind me of shades of FTR. Like they're really good. They're stiff. They're like, and they talk so much. Like I would hate to have to wrestle these guys because every 5 minutes, look at that. You like that? I'll beat you up. Like, yo, shut up. Shut up. They're really, really good. And like I said, the chemistry between these guys, these 4 gentlemen are is really good as well. If ABC has to lose to anyone, I could see it being GYV. Like their finisher, the grit your teeth, the double knees, disgusting.
And that was the right time to pull out that accent too.
Yeah, it must have been what he is.
Yeah, a lot of shit talking from GYV, which I appreciate. The double assisted backbreaker on the outside to Chris Bay looked good. It looked gnarly. Just some good, solid tag team wrestling. Drake and Gibson are cutting off the ring. They're stopping Austin from tagging in. It's a more technical approach for match number 1, which I appreciate. The hot tag to Ace Austin got everyone through and excited. Bay tagging Austin, Gibson holding Austin outside long enough so that any double team from Ace of Bays gets completely negated. And then GYV get in and they do their double team heel offense instead. That's just solid heel work. I love that stuff. And then Drake, the finish, James Drake wrapping that grizzled young veteran scarf around Ace Austin's throat while the referee's distracted, checking on Gibson, takes him down. GYV hits grit your teeth, and they win match number 1. Just good, solid tag team wrestling.
This could go one of 2 ways. Let's say in a mad world, GYV blows through these guys 2-0, you know? And then there's a week before then and No Surrender. You could be like, hey, listen, these guys cheated. So technically we didn't even lose that. I want my rematch at No Surrender. Don't think they'll do that, but that's also an option. The cheating at the end, much like how I felt with FTR and WWE, you don't got to do that, but it makes sense. So I don't mind a little cheating if it makes sense. You guys could win, but until you say that I'm not allowed to cheat, you know what I mean? You say it, but like it's a suggestion.
Given that they've already taped everything going into No Surrender, I don't think that you're going to see what you think you're seeing.
Yeah, like I said, it's an option because I'm always going to react to like Impact as like it's my first time seeing it. Yeah, I know it's taped. I don't care, y'all. I'm a Mark ass. My middle name is Cresta Mark Ann Star. Come on.
great middle name there.
It's whatever you want. I'm also 9,000 years old. It's the internet.
That's true. Look at those glasses.
I mean, I can see it's a Christmas miracle.
Didn't you used to wear a beard on these shows?
I mean...
No. We're out of time.
One thing about me, not Chad, I'm sorry. I'm tired. That's my roommate. One thing about me, Joel, is I always got clowns. I got yucks. So this is why we stopped wearing it too, because
that's just sad. That is just sad. Everyone in AEW has mustaches, and yours is just not working for anyone.
Yeah, I mean, like Hangman's mustache. I can't be seen out here with my mustache right now. Matthew and Nicholas Jack, I cannot be seen with my mustache out here in these streets.
No, you just can't do it. Anyway, that's going to do it. That's TNA for February 1st, 2024. No Surrenders in 3 weeks. We will be here. We will have a post show. And of course, we're here every single Thursday after the ROH post show to talk about TNA wrestling. We do it concise. We do it compact. We do it in a way that hopefully entertains you. Leave a comment down below, would you? Cresta Star, what you got going on?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's always a pleasure. I'll be live this Saturday here again over on Fightful. Myself, Iridian, and Rick are going to go over everything that is collision based for AEW. Also on Wednesdays, you can find me over on TikTok and Twitch at Cresta Star, where we watch AEW Dynamite together. It's the only day of the week because my muggle job has me in the PCO salt and I'm on the floor being held down by various wrestlers. Joel, where can they find you?
Not hard to find. I am at Joel Pearl, JOELPEARL, in the weeds every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday over on Fightful Overbooked. That's youtube.com/Fightful Overbooked. We're over 15,000 subscribers now. Thank you for that. We're going to have, if you're listening live or if you're just watching before, whatever, Friday's show. We're going to start off with MLW's Davey Boy Smith Jr. Plenty to ask him there. Our good buddy Cameron Hawkins is going to join us a little bit later. Going to talk about a lot of Royal Rumble fallout, a lot of presser conversations, and of course it's Black History Month, so we're going to talk to Cam about that because I'm sure he's working on some stuff. And who else is gonna? Andrew Zarian usually shows up, and I feel like Zarian should probably come and talk to us about some news he dropped along with us on Fightful Select, the best $5 in the business. Go and join us there. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, leave a thumbs up on the way out. Join us here on youtube.com/Fightful, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.
Bye.